All right, Ole Miss and Kentucky.
Yeah.
We got Ole Miss 10-point road favorites, 52 the total in this game. Hey, we'll take it. Wasn't all bad last week. Yeah, it was not a good week, but it wasn't all bad. We did cash a few, and one of them was Toledo, plus the points. We got the money there with them against Kentucky last week. Like I said, Kentucky high on my bet against list to begin the year. I'll tell you what, 24-16 Kentucky. Zach Calzada was pathetic, man. How that guy is starting at quarterback for Kentucky, I'll have no idea. He was 10 for 23, less than 50% completions at home against Toledo. You're 10 for 23 with 85 passing yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. Brutal stat line for Zach Calzada. I'm not shocked. I did not expect much from this guy when Kentucky named him the starting quarterback. Now, the saving grace for them is Dante Dowdell ended up having 129 rushing yards, and the run game was what kept Kentucky afloat. 220, and they kind of leaned on Toledo as that game went on. Yet Toledo still covered the number, obviously, with that late touchdown with under 2 minutes left from Tucker Gleason. I will say this, Kentucky's defense did play pretty well, at least against the run. Toledo had no run game to speak of. Pretty much everything came through the air with Tucker Gleason, 270 through the air. There's no way I take Kentucky here. None. No way. Now, the question is, do I want to lay 10 with Ole Miss? And I don't always trust the Lane Kiffin, when he's a double-digit road favorite. Hell, I'm still remembering, with Jackson Dart as his quarterback now in the NFL, and they still lost to Kentucky at home last year, 20-17. And Kentucky's actually covered 2 in a row, and this has been a tough matchup for Ole Miss. Kentucky, the Ole Miss victories were a 3-point win, an overtime win, and a 3-point win. Oh, and then it's in the recent years. So Kentucky, for some reason, has been a thorn in Ole Miss's side. But boy, oh boy, this year's Kentucky, it doesn't look very good. And I know it was Georgia State last week, 63-7. But the concern was, is Ole Miss going to be able to just reload at quarterback? And I'll tell you what, Austin Simmons looked really good. 341 passing yards, 3 touchdowns for Ole Miss in that game. Kewan Lacey with 108 rushing yards as well for Ole Miss. This is the lay it or don't play it for me, because I don't think much of Kentucky, but I will admit I'm a little hesitant because of the series history of Kentucky playing Ole Miss tough. I just don't think Kentucky's very good this year, and they certainly weren't very good last week, particularly on offense, and even more so their quarterback, who is lousy, awful. What do you think here, C-Mac? Ole Miss, Kentucky.
Yeah, I thought the Ole Miss would just, that game would kind of be like that, and it was. One thing Georgia State did all right, though, they ran the football, and that's why no way do I want Ole Miss. That means I think Kentucky can run the football on them at home. I'm just serious. I'm serious. I think they can. They're just going to slow this game down and keep it close. And I can't take our good friend Lane points like this on the road. So I don't trust their defense. Not that Kentucky will do a bunch. He did look awful. That game, too, was the biggest snooze fest. All of a sudden, the fourth quarter, they laid back. They got the lead a little bit, and they gave up some big passing plays to Toledo. I forget what Gleason ended. He had 23 for 40 with 270, but it wasn't great early. But there was kind of a lot late in that game. Watching that, too, that was an under that I wish I was on. But I think Kentucky is the play here. I know it didn't look very good, but I think they're the move here. I lean under.
Series history says you got to take Kentucky. If I'm being honest, I just don't think I want to. They look that bad on offense, especially last week, Kentucky. But
yeah, but I think you lean on the trenches here. What you have, really got studs. You don't have a great quarterback. You're right.
Kentucky has owned the trench battle against Ole Miss these last few years. You see it every year. Ole Miss is having issues in the trenches against Kentucky for whatever reason. So that's what's concerning to me. I badly want to fade Kentucky again. I just don't know. Ole Miss in this price range is the team that I want to do it with.